Hi guys, and this is the second video for topic 6, literal equations. So for this one, we are going to use our knowledge to solve word problems using algebra. So if we look at the first question, it says write and solve an equation to find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 75. So there's a lot of important words in there. When we think of the word consecutive, we think in a row. A consecutive integer, if I said I had the number 2, the next consecutive integer would be 3, the next one would be 4, then 5, then 6, then so on. But this time we don't know what the integer is. It doesn't tell us what it starts with. So what we have to do is we have to use a variable to represent those integers. So I'm going to use the variable n. And n is going to represent my first integer. Except I have to find 3. And if I started at the number 2, we said the next consecutive integer was 3, then 4, then 5. How do I get from 2 to 3? Well, I added 1. So to find my second integer, I'm going to take my first integer and add 1. Second integer. And then to find my last one, I'm going to do n plus 2. That will be my third integer. Because if I look at the list that I have above, to get from 2 to 4, I'm adding 2. It's all in relation to this first one. So now that we've defined our variables, we have n plus 1, and n plus 2. Now we can look at the second part of the question. It says, whose sum is 75? Sum means addition. Add 'em. So we have to add n plus 1 plus n plus 2. That gives me the sum. And it tells us that that's equal to 75. So I'm just going to erase that so I have room. What we know about like terms is that we can add them if they have the same label. So I have n plus n plus n. That gives us 3n. Then I have 1, positive 1, and a positive 2. So that gives me plus 3. And that's going to equal 75. So from there, it is a two-step equation. We look at the non-variable term first, which is that positive 3. So we need to subtract 3 to get rid of that. We're left with 3n equals 72. Because 3 is being multiplied by n, we need to divide by 3. So our final answer for n is going to be 24. However, it says write and solve to find all 3 of those integers. So I'm going to write a sentence. The integers are, it starts with 24, but I need 3 of them. So if I go back over here, I can plug in 24 for n. 24 plus 1 is 25, and 24 plus 2 is 26. And if you want to check, you can add up all those numbers, 24 plus 25 plus 26, and we will get 75. So now let's look at the next one, and we have to be careful. We have to really read this one, because it says 3 consecutive odd integers whose sum is 117. So they're gonna add them all. But this time we have odd integers, not just integers. So if I have the number 3, 3 is an odd number. The next odd number is 5, then 7, then 9. How do I get from 3 to 5? Well, I add 2. I add 2 every single time. So if n, once again, is my first integer, then my second integer is actually going to be n plus 2. Because I added 2 to get to the next odd number. And then if I go from my first one to my third one, to get from 3 to 7, I'm adding 4. So my third integer is going to be represented by n plus 4. So now that I've defined those, again I'm taking the sum. Sum means add them all up. So I am going to add n plus 2 plus n plus 4. That is the sum. Adding them all up. And it tells us that that is equal to 117. Once again, I'll combine my like terms. N, and n is 3n. And then positive 2 and positive 4 give me a positive 6 equals 117. From here, it's just a regular two-step equation. So I must subtract 6 from both sides, because that is the opposite operation to the non-variable term. I'm left with 3n equals 117 minus 6 is 111. Then, because 3 is being multiplied by n, I'm going to divide by 3. And I get n equals 37. And that's nice because that is odd. Which is exactly what we wanted. But once again, we need to write a sentence for our answer because n equals 37 is not the answer. The integers are starts with 37, and then if we go back over here, we plug in 37 for n. 37 plus 2 is going to give us 39, and 37 plus 4 is going to give us 41. So that is our answer. I forgot to put a box over my answer over here. So why don't you go and do the U-try? I'm going to help you guys set this up. For 3 consecutive even integers, you're going to have n plus 2, and n plus 4 again, because to get from an even number to the next, it's the same as to get from an odd number to the x. You add 2. So n is the first, n plus 2 is the second, and n plus 4 is the third. Go ahead and try the rest of this on your own. Thank you.